You have been
Hello.
granted.
You have been
Welcome.
granted my greatest wishes.
Dude, it's like when you
Wait. Your greatest wishes? Do you
Yeah,
give
but-
people your bad wishes?
Your
yeah, but
greatest wishes.
you know what that is
Only the
though?
greatest.
That's literally just like a slot machine in Vegas. Like you just,
Yeah.
it's like you walk past it and it goes, "Ding, you will get my greatest wishes." Is that what
I
you
will
said?
grant you my
I
greatest
will grant
wishes.
you my greatest wishes. It's called like, the genie's
Yeah.
tomb.
Right.
or something.
But then like sometimes they get lazy and they want to like just they don't have a good copywriter, but they have a bunch of different themed machines. So then you walk by another one and it's like, I will grant you my greatest fishes.
Yep.
That's good. I like that. I like the internet.
Don't feel like watching movies, so I'll watch people guess them instead. I don't know how it goes, I think it starts with your show.
Guys, welcome to the Valley Cast. We don't have an Elliot today. It's all right. Sometimes,
Elliot's been on a roll with this.
Elliot's
podcast.
been on a
He hasn't
roll.
missed one in a
He's-
long time.
I think Elliot
MVP.
should get a gold star. Yeah,
You know
Yeah.
what? I agree. Elliot, gold star.
gold star for
think
you,
he'll
Elliot.
listen?
No. So the few things right off the top of the bat, I do want to put a $10 bill into that genie machine
You want to get some of those
wishes.
wishes.
because I think
Give
something
you my
like
greatest
that,
wishes.
something like that would draw me in because I'd be like, "What did he just say?" I will grant you my
You're
greatest
right.
wishes. I'd be like, "What is that? I'd be like you, Joe. I'd be like, "What is greatest wishes?" That's why I love asking. When I was doing Santa Steve, I loved asking people what their favorite Christmas wish was.
Yeah.
Baby Christmas wish.
It's like the same thing. It's like that sentence. Anyone can interpret that sentence in some way. Like you
Yeah.
could say that to a kid, and they'll probably know an answer right away. Like they won't even. They can't even conceive of what the fuck a Christmas wish is. And most people hear someone, if I were to ask you what's your favorite Christmas wish, most adults would be like, 1 year I wished for this thing and I didn't get it. I just didn't get it. And it's like, but that's not actually what I'm asking.
Nuh-uh.
I'm asking, what's your favorite Christmas wish? Not what did you want for Christmas and you didn't get it.
Yeah.
That's not what I asked.
of all the things that you made, we all made over the last 10 years of being kind of like floating within each other's Venn diagrams, Santa Steve is probably the one thing that like maybe not the one thing, but it's one of the top of the list for like if we weren't just so niche all the time, like if SourceFed and Valleyfolk and all that stuff kind of like blew out bigger than the audience that we had, Santa Steve would have been an amazing like sit down celebrity thing.
100%.
Oh man, like a between two
100%.
ferns kind of situation.
Right, but like the one-on-one with one celebrity for too long, probably I don't know if that works as well. But if we had like a montage of like 6 celebrities that sat with you,
No,
and
but
we
that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
between two ferns is just like, getting a celebrity guest there and
Mm-hmm.
asking them the most ridiculous shit.
Yep.
It would be like a between two ferns, but it's Santa.
Yeah. Or you could get like a cast from a movie that was coming out or
Yes.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yes.
We were kind of heading there. I felt like We
Santa
were like-
Steve with the Guardians
We
of the
were
Galaxy.
like
Yeah.
we were like one more decent like year away from like maybe doing stuff like that.
Dave Bautista's sitting in your
I
lap.
think we
Yeah.
do you guys
Yeah.
remember when Krampus was coming
Yeah.
out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we did like a press junket at SourceFed, and it was like one of the last it feels like one of the last press junkets we did as SourceFed with SourceFed Nerd. But I sat down with I eventually sat down with Adam Scott, and it's a really funny interview. It like
Yeah.
the whole beginning, I forgot how awkward the beginning is because we were like seeing a bunch of people that day, and when Adam Scott came to us, I like couldn't think of his name. And he like somehow caught on to that and was like, "Do you know who I am?" I was like, "Of course I fucking know who you are, dude. I'm a huge fan. You're so funny. I loved you in Step Brothers, and you're incredible in Parks and Rec. Like, come on, man." And he's like, all right. Well, but I like somehow skirted around, like maybe forgetting his name for a second.
That's
And
so
listen,
funny.
it happens all the time. And this is why I can't do things like that, like interviews, because I forget their names.
Fair, dude. Be fair. To be fair, what he did was bullshit. You are not allowed to have two basic fucking first names for a name.
I know, Adam and Scott.
Oh, what's your name? Hi, I'm Joe Tom.
Joe
Nice to meet
Tom.
you.
Dude, I used
Jack
to watch
Ryan.
Joe Tom on YouTube. They got back together recently, I heard.
Is that video
But-
still on
but-
YouTube, Steve? Can
Yeah,
you find
yeah,
it?
yeah. You should cut
That's
it in
great.
because it's
Yeah.
pretty good. So anyway, but the reason why I brought it up is because when we heard from the studio that there was going to be a Krampus junket, they were like, "Do you want to have like one-on-one time with anybody in particular?" And I was like, "Well, super, yeah, I want to talk to Adam Scott," because this was before Adam Scott like became
Blew up.
the shit,
Yeah.
like everybody knew him as that guy that would show up and be funny in that thing for a second, and then Parks and Rec was like the big deal for him, I think. But he didn't quite hit the household names, I think, until like after Krampus, and even now into
I think, he's
show.
still kind of a little bit under the radar. I don't
I
think
agree,
it's like
but
huge.
I
think he's
agree.
a perfect celebrity.
Yeah, like he you know what's funny? It's like he's where Paul Rudd was before
Yeah.
Paul Rudd got Ant-Man.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
So Adam Scott needs some kind of Marvel thing, and then he'll be like, "Oh, Adam Scott."
Kind of want him not to do that though.
But
Stay
what's
where
that
he is.
show that he's
Severance?
on? Severance, yeah. So
Yeah.
Severance has elevated him to like
That was awesome.
Adam Sandler, like serious actor levels, I think. But anyway, I digress. So the studio was like, "Who do you want to talk to?" And I was like, "Adam Scott for sure." And then they were like, "What about David Koechner?" Because David Koechner's in the movie too, and he's so funny, and I love
Always
him.
so fun. He's a loose cannon.
He'll
Some would
lose
say.
fucking cannon. And I was like, "Oh shit, I want David Koechner so bad." And they were like, "Okay, is there anything special you want to do with them?" And I was like, "What if we got Santa Steve to interview Krampus, right? The stars of Krampus." Because
There
it's
it
such
is.
a perfect synergetic,
There it is.
right?
Yeah.
And it was such a like the synergy. It felt so synergetic.
It was just like boom. Yeah.
Dude, it felt like when you make a
Boom.
good thought, when you have a good thought in a room where there's a meeting happening, and you say something, and everyone goes like, "That's a good idea." Yeah, and
that's
everyone
good.
agrees, "That's good, that's good." And then
Yeah.
you kind of sit there and like, "Well, I don't have to say another word for 3 weeks because of
out.
this."
I'm just gonna keep filling up my water glass, and
Dude,
then I'll
so
have to
I-
pee.
exactly. And so and text under the table. But I was like, dude, how perfect is that? Like Santa Steve interviews David Koechner and Adam Scott if he wants to, and whatever. We could just do a special Santa Steve interview or something. And everyone loved it, and they pitched it to the studio, and they were like, "Okay, David's curious. Can you send us what you're talking about?"
Oh no.
And I was like, "Oh fuck! Of course, we should have sent him like what exactly what we
Yeah.
were thinking of." So we sent him like the latest Santa Steve, and they came back like immediately and were like, David's passing." I was like, "Oh man, how fucking perfect would that have been, dude?"
Well, it's like I feel like unless it is like a Zach Galifianakis situation, I don't think a comedian wants to be the second funniest person in the room.
Or they
True.
don't want to be like the press junkets are so draining and awful, and like you're just. I get it. It's like
Yeah,
fucking work.
Ugh.
It's more work than the movie was sometimes, it
Yeah.
feels like.
Yeah.
And they don't want to like do that. And also it's like a little mental gymnastics, and like you don't want to
Yeah.
do improv, and like I totally, and you're right, Joe. Like being like if it's like this person already has an established thing that the audience really loves, and I'm coming into it to be like a funny celebrity or whatever. And especially I could understand someone like David Koechner being like, But how dude, that would have changed the course of history.
It would have. Yeah.
I think it would have been like if David Koechner said yes to that. That would have been like a fucking legendary video, probably.
Been super funny.
And then we would have done so much more with that.
Yep.
Like we would have been like, all right, well, let's interview people with Santa Steve.
Let me refill my coffee. I'll be right back. Keep talking.
Whoa.
But
He's up.
what if he was completely nude from the waist down when he got up?
Has that ever happened? We need that bit to happen.
We did it
'cause
with
gets
Elliot. Did
mentioned.
it? Elliot did.
Elliot did is just bare ass.
Yeah, it was very. Oh, but you're talking about full frontal,
Full frontal.
dude. That is really like it's like a comedy, like in case of emergency break glass
It is.
situation.
But the thing is I feel like nowadays it doesn't get the like. You have to be so careful with
you
that
can't
kind
do
of
it.
laugh.
Yeah, you just can't do it. That's the other like bringing it back to Santa Steve a little bit. And I didn't
true,
bring it
yeah.
up. Joe brought it up. Okay, so but now that we're on that train of thought,
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Like Santa Steve is probably not okay to do now either. Like there's no way, like it's done. I think that bit is like can't be done anymore unless it's like super good friends.
Santa Steve just has to evolve with the times just ever so slightly because I only disagree because Eric Andre is still a thing.
But I think that changing with the times is a sign of like that's the end of that. Like in some ways.
I'm saying slightly, but not if you had to like maybe drop the one real funny line out of an edit. But again, Eric Andre's still doing his thing. I don't think you'd have to change that much. But like you said, people got to know what they're signing up for.
Yeah. And it's just like Eric Andre gets away with it because he's doing so much shit while he's doing it too. Like he's not just asking weird fucking questions.
No.
He's like snipping the microphone cable and like slurping vomit out of a mug and
Ugh. I still contend his doing the opening every single show is one of the most brilliant decisions in TV history.
And every single one is different.
Exactly.
There's no different. It's like what he puts his body through, what he has put his body through. Is like really insane. And by the way, this new season that's happening right now is glorious. It's so good. We're really getting spoiled with like alt comedy right now because I think You Should Leave season 3 or 4 or whatever popped up also. And it was like so fucking good. And Tim Robinson's so fucking good. And then Eric Andre drops his new season and he's so fucking good. And everybody who's on it's so fucking good. And it's just like we're getting these little alt comedy treats.
We are.
It's very nice.
I love it.
Guys, oh shit. Speaking of comedy, I had a dream last night. I had a work stress dream.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Was this a first time at this job?
I don't have work stress dreams. So I didn't have a work stress dream with anything to do with React. Or
I don't
anything to do
have
with
work
Valleyfolk.
stress dreams, and I didn't have a work stress dream.
I just wanted to say that I did. So look at me.
No, I love that you're like, I had a work stress dream, and then you said, I don't
greatest
have work
work
stress
stress
dreams.
I don't have that. I really don't. People come to work.
What's your favorite
What's your favorite
work
work
stress
stress
I will
dream?
grant you your favorite work stress dream. No, I had a dream last night that I was just, whatever else was happening in the dream. It was one of those elaborate melatonin dreams where a bunch of things happened. But then like halfway through it, somebody was like, all right, your SNL audition is in like 15 minutes. I hope. And I was like,
projectile vomit shoot out of your mouth in real life.
and I was like, excuse me, what? I've got nothing prepared. So I had this incredibly stressful dream about the three bits that I was supposed to perform on my SNL. I didn't have them. So I had to try and like come up with them. Like,
I mean, I think of any of us, you would be the most okay because you're so good at like on the fly, like what would people want to see like right now, where it's like for me it'd be like rotten and twisted comedy that nobody wants, and for Elliot it would be like too politically leaning or way
Yeah.
too sarcastic.
He'd have stand up at least, right?
Yeah.
True.
But for you, you'd be like,
You're the
dude, I've got
everyman.
3 characters. I've got
Yeah.
this.
Nope, I don't have characters.
did
That's
it.
the
You're like a
problem.
comedy sports guy, though. You could
Oh.
do that. You got it.
Various versions of me when I do stuff, but the two moments that really stuck out in the dream were, for some reason, Jason Sudeikis was right there, and I asked Jason Sudeikis, I go, how am I gonna not screw this up?
How may I help you?
How am I gonna get on the show? And he's like, oh man, don't worry about it. I'm Jason Sudeikis, and he was really nice. He was very Ted Lasso leaning, and instead
Aw.
of advice, he was just like, do this character and this character and this character.
Whoa.
Oh my god! Like he like directed you.
Which were basically like, he was saying it like nonchalantly, and they were all like maybe his characters, and I was like,
What
I
the
can't-
fuck? Do my favorite character. That's
I can't do
mine.
that. He's like, it'll be fine. And then, so the only bit that came up in my mind in the panic that was doing this fucking audition was, I was like, I guess I'll just, hey, can we get some stairs? Can we get some like prop stairs? Because I want to just do a bit where I'm a baby trying to crawl upstairs.
Oh, I love that.
And
See,
in my
that's
dream,
great.
in my dream, I was like, oh god, that's horrible. The more I thought about it, is like, that could be a pretty funny bit.
Yeah,
Dude,
you
Joe,
could do a
that's
lot.
really good. Like if you did that in front of Lorne Michaels and you had like a really fun closer for it,
Yeah.
I think that'd be very good.
Hey, hi, I'm Joe Beretta. Thank you for having me. For my first character, I'm gonna do a baby trying to crawl upstairs. Thank you.
Honestly, like I'm in. Like I
Yeah.
would love that. I would love that.
The physical commitment would leave me bruised and battered, but it would be worth it.
Do you
would be
guys
worth
like how have we talked about, speaking of dreams, have we talked about lucid dreaming?
Oh yeah, we've touched on it
Like
before.
we've touched on it?
Who hasn't?
You were trying to do it for a while, and you
I
have
was
been
trying to do it. Well,
you
like,
kind of
yeah.
succeeded a little bit.
I used to be able to do it when I was like younger, when I was like a teenager. And I didn't have full control over it, but I could be like
Were you like
aware.
actively trying to do it, or you
Well,
just like
I didn't
kind
really
of
know
did
what
it?
it was, because this
Yeah,
was
that's
like
what I
before you
remember,
could
too.
go on the internet and be like, "What's this?"
I had similar experiences when I was a kid of like feeling like I could control shit in my dream, but it
Yeah.
hasn't happened ever since.
I guess what happened was like eventually I figured out that if I laid still long enough and kept my eyes open for as long as I possibly could and just stared at like one thing on the ceiling, like a fucking like, like a barf
Yeah.
drip or something, and just like stare at it, eventually I would like slip
kinda
into
go
sleep,
into
but
sleep.
also still be aware of that thing on the ceiling. And then I'd somehow be able to kind of like live in between like sleep and like being awake.
Yeah, I mean,
And-
I get that.
Yeah, and then I could like fuck around from there, but I never really had like full control or whatever. And I was also like kind of freaked out. Like, what the fuck is that? Is that like astral projecting? Like, is this what people think
Yeah.
like astral projecting is? Because truly it just felt for real like I came out of my body and now I'm like in a dream world kind of.
Yeah,
But so I didn't know what it was. And then like as an adult, I found out what it was and was like, oh man, I'd love to do it again. Because it sounds like people can utilize lucid dreaming for like all sorts of fun shenanigans, but also like helping with like anxieties and fears and things
Yeah.
like that. You like can conquer these like internal struggles and shit. So I was like, wow, this is like really cool sounding. So I started to look into it again. Like in my mid 20s or late 20s or something, but found that it was more difficult to do as an adult. Like it was really hard to do. And then eventually there was like a subreddit for it that I like kind of like was like casually like reading, and they would like talk about like supplements and like things you can do
Oh, gosh.
during the day, and there's like reality checks and things like that. And I was like, man, this is fucking crazy. But do you guys, if we've talked about it, then we can just kind of like gloss over. But have you guys, Joe, have you ever done like a lucid dream at all?
The closest thing that I've ever had, and again, I think I was doing it more when I was younger, is that there would be times where I was not lucid dreaming, I would say, but I would have like decision-making control in some dreams.
Yeah.
Well, it was like lucid dreaming adjacent, but I never like got to that level at all.
And Kevin, you were
Yeah.
like me. You used to be able to kind of do something
Yeah, it was always flying dreams. Like I would be able to like
Yeah, I could
not
fly.
yeah, it was more like that. Like I could make the decision like now I'm gonna start flying. And I
Yeah.
would start flying. Yeah, that would happen. Did you guys have dreams where you died?
Dude, I distinctly remember
Like you actually died?
like before I move on to that, I distinctly remember like a muscle in my back that I could like
Whoa,
like
that's intense.
squeeze. No, and I could fly. Like that was like my flying
Yeah, that's
muscle.
your flight. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ooh,
like,
baby, don't touch me there, baby. That's my flying button.
that's my flying muscles. Yeah, they're sore from all the flying I've been doing in my dreams. But like I specifically have like I remember being able to kind of like just like flex my back
Dude, that'd
a
be
little
so
bit,
cool.
and it like and I could like take off.
We need like a muscle implant that you can
Yeah.
like shoot into your
But isn't it interesting that it's like, you know, whether that was instinctual or whatever it was, isn't it interesting that like, you know, that's like where wings would be, like on a human or something, you know, or like
That's
when we
what I
talk
was
about
thinking.
angels or something, they show the wings there. But I don't know,
Ooh.
whatever. But I had a
Babe.
lot of fun.
Babe,
but,
check it out. When I flex this muscle, I fly. Now, when I flex this muscle, check this out. Car started. Now check this out. You thirsty? Ooh, squeezed my butt. My dog's bringing you a beer from the fridge.
What? Who is this guy?
He's just
Sounds
a
like
real
this guy
interesting
got-
guy.
Sounds
Guys-
like this guy got someone's best wishes. Or
You know,
best-
he's
greatest wish.
greatest wishes.
look. He went back. He went to Vegas. He came back. He got all these new powers. Man, Joe Tom is my best friend.
Okay, so, but we know that like lucid dreaming is a real thing, and we know that it's like, certainly used for what we were talking about, like rehabilitation and things like that, and also for fun shenanigans. So, is there like more curiosity in you at all to like learn more about it or to learn how to do it? Is that like something you'd want to do?
I would if it didn't sound like as much work as you were saying it was. Like to have to like every day like think about what you have to do during the day to
Right.
be able to do it. If
Yeah.
it was just like a nightly thing that I had to do, maybe I would look more
Yeah.
into it, but it seems like such a process.
They've
that
been
it's
trying
not
to
worth it.
like they've been trying to find a way to make it like marketable as like this is all you have to do to lucid dream
Yeah.
and for years and years and years now. And there's like apps that are kind of cool
I
that
bet.
will like tell you that'll like remind you to like write down what happened in your dream last night and things like that. And they try to streamline the process a little bit and make it easier.
I mean, imagine if there was like a lucid dream doctor that you would go to and they put like
Right? I
show
mean,
you yeah.
Some people
Like
say
they put
that
you in a lucid dream.
some people say that there is like a cocktail of supplements that you can take that like
That seems like far fetched though. To
That seems like drugs.
yeah, right. But like the only reason why I feel like that could be possible is because there are supplements that like either give you more or less of a something that
Dreaming,
you like.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And like if what helps you dream is by having like more of something you don't have, then maybe like it gives you I mean, I'm not saying it's like a magical pill, but if
Yeah.
people are swearing by like a certain vitamin or something that helps with dreaming or
I would do
deeper
that.
sleeping or something like that. Yeah.
Okay, you're at Vegas. You went to the granting wish
Yeah, the greatest wish
machine, the greatest
genie's
wish
tomb.
the
machine.
genie's tomb.
Dude,
The
it
genie-
pulled you in. You walked by. It's like, I will grant you my greatest wishes. You're in a fucking gas station, but you sit there anyways. You sit down. You're like, all right, I'll play. You throw in a 10. You hit the jackpot.
Whoa.
Fucking lights are flashing.
Oh shit.
Shit's going crazy.
What is it, like $200,000?
Out of where the typical like cartoon coin slot where all the coins would fly out if you were in a cartoon. It's not the way Vegas works. You get a little slip of paper,
I know you do.
or it goes to your card.
It
But
still makes the cool coin sound, though.
yes, it does. The coin sound is going off.
The coin sound happens.
Actually, you know what? That's not happening. None of it. You hit the jackpot. It goes, you win. No, and it's silent. It just says you win. And then you hear it. And then out into that coin slot where the cartoon would usually be, a pill comes out.
Yeah.
One single
Like it
pill.
just dispenses a pill.
One
like
pill.
Like the jackpot is a pill. This sounds like a Black Mirror
One-
episode.
pill. And one pill, and it says, "Your wish is granted."
On
Do
the
you
Your greatest wish is
ingest
granted.
your greatest wish? My greatest wish is yours.
My
I want this. I think I want to write this. We should write this.
Do you take the pill? Do you ingest the
I
pill?
love it because it's like, wait a minute, it's your greatest wish,
greatest wish.
not mine.
My greatest wish is yours.
What is your greatest wish? Because what if your greatest wish is not what I want?
Do you
Man.
do you take that
I
pill?
think I take it because
Yeah.
it's like, what are the chances of getting a what are the chances of getting a jackpot on the big jackpot on a slot machine?
Very little.
Very low. So like
Very low.
that
It's
alone
gotta be
is
good.
like gotta be good.
Yeah.
It's gotta be good. You're at a gas station.
Oh shit! I forgot about that part.
What if I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna take this pill. Obviously I want this guy's greatest wish, especially if it was the jackpot of the mummy's or the genie's tomb. Which, by the way, is so foreboding.
Yeah.
It's,
So
it's
foreboding.
his tomb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that where he died?
The genie.
That's where they put his body.
Has there ever been a game called The Genie's Tomb?
I mean, I honestly, I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised.
But
There's really dumb shit out there.
if we're getting
Yeah.
technical, the lamp technically is his tomb.
Yeah,
It's his
that's what I'm
prison.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's his prison and his tomb.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's just there's just something unsettling about it. On top of the fact that he's very well, he's gonna give you his greatest wish.
I'll grant you my greatest wish.
But it doesn't. It doesn't start like that. It says, "I will grant you your greatest wish," and then it gives you his greatest wish.
So
Do
what
you
if
take
I'm
it at the
like,
gas station, or do you bring this home and do you
I think I take it-
contemplate over it for a while?
Well, my hotel
Take me
room
home.
is ready at 2:00.
Okay.
And
Okay.
it's 1:30. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go to my hotel room, and I'm gonna take it there. I'm definitely gonna take it there. And what if like I get in my hotel room and I get my like cup of water and I'm like, well, here we go. Well, and I drink it and then like I kind of just sit there and then all of a sudden, it just cuts to like I'm in the ocean and I'm a fish.
Oh. I will grant you my greatest fish.
And then someone is wiping down the mummy's the genie's tip. It says you get my greatest fish.
It's a nightmare.
And then he's
This Black
laughing,
Mirror.
and then it just and it zooms out from like this fish like swimming away off into the ocean.
Oh man, that's really good. That's really good. Well, when you were saying wiping down, I thought you were saying maybe it was the hand of the
Aquarium?
guy wiping down the
Oh,
side
and
of
he's-
the
and he's-
aquarium.
and he's
Yeah,
like,
that
that's
you're
what I
living in. You are my greatest
what I-
fish.
"Oh my God."
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And it's in his house. It's,
Yeah.
it's his aquarium.
I mean, come
And it's
on.
just some guy.
That's an I think you should leave sketch for sure.
Oh, it's totally an I think you should leave sketch because it just goes absolutely bonkers.
That's so funny.
Genie's tomb.
The aquarium is the tomb. Aha!
So Joe, if you could lucid dream, would you? If it
Sure.
was easy to do, like,
if it was
why
easy.
haven't you done it? Because it's
Well, I
hard
mean,
to do.
I think Kevin's just saying, I think as you get older and you get more responsibilities, there's no fucking world where I have the mental capacity to concentrate enough throughout the day to get
I
to that
know,
point.
but wouldn't
I
it
gotta
be
take care of 2 kids. I gotta take care of a sick wife. I gotta take care of bills and fucking everything else. No.
But doesn't it
That's right.
feel like that like, your sleep time is like absolutely necessary? But what if like, you're doing a bunch of shit during the day, life's crushing, whatever it is, and you're like, at nighttime I could like figure out like a plan, like a 5-year plan or something, and like
Oh man.
or like but
What's
you're
that?
doing it while you sleep, like you don't have to like do much.
Oh, so you're
guess-
saying I would utilize
I'm
my
saying
life.
it's
You're
is it
saying my
worth
life
it?
is so rad that instead of flying and my lucid dream. I'm figuring out my 5-year plan.
No, I'm just saying, like, what
Man,
is
I
something?
got a lot going on.
Like, I'm saying, what is something that would like make it worth the time
Dude,
to put in?
I just want to be
it?
a fucking fish now.
Yeah, the greatest fish. That's it. Yeah, he should say, "I'll grant you my greatest wish,"
Oh man.
and then later he's like,
You are my
But I-
greatest fish.
"It's my greatest fish."
I like the
someone
idea.
walks, like someone in real outside of that should walk by it, and it says, "I will grant you my greatest fish," and the guy goes like, "I don't want that." He just walks away.
I like the
I don't
idea
want it.
of the Black Mirror reveal of like the gas station attendant like wiping down the machine. But what is the visual representation of wiping smudge
Yeah.
off of a W so it turns into an F?
Yeah.
What? In what world would you ever be
Like, how does that
confused?
work?
I think it's better. It's probably better that it was always fish. He just didn't. The person who played was seeing wish.
God dang.
But anyway, I guess like, because for me, it's like so enticing, like the lucid dreaming idea of like being able to fly around and like
Yeah.
do all these scenarios.
It's like mind video games.
Yeah, it's like mind video games
Yeah.
and like creating your own like universe and shit like that. Some people say that like they're so good at it and they've done it for so long that like they have trouble
Not doing
between
it?
what's dreams and what's reality.
Yeah, that's scary.
And so that's like probably not good. But man, it just sounds so fun to just like, I remember those dreams of like being able to fly around and shit. It's fucking cool. And also like being like, I'm gonna fly around Disneyland. I'm gonna
Yeah, it's
fly
pretty-
into the Matterhorn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna
like
fuck
that.
a fish
Soaring.
in there.
This is not my greatest wish.
But dude, I'm also super terrified of you know, the whole like, cause my brain fucks with me, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like I'm constantly battling my brain fucking with me. And
The biggest battle.
right? And it's like, I feel like in the dream world, it would just be like, well, here's a scary monster that you can't even fathom that came from the bowels of your fucked up brain, and you're terrified of. Here's a terrifying thing, like in the middle of being like, I'm flying!
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it's like, scary thing right there, and now you're dying.
It's like
Yep.
your mind goes all Tesla self-drive on you.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
scared of that, and I'm scared of the the sleep paralysis aspect.
That's a thing that happens with it?
It happens because sleep paralysis, I guess, is very common and happens to like. I want to say that what sleep paralysis is your body going into let's stay where we are and not get up and walk around. Like people sleepwalk and things like that because the sleep paralysis part like doesn't really work, or some
Yeah, it's
other
the opposite.
mental thing.
It's like their mental is asleep, but their body isn't.
Right. So it's like the sleep paralysis is meant to kind of just keep you in place, and you're supposed to sleep through that.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to like be awake for that. And so when you're lucid dreaming, you're trying to find the balance between like falling asleep but keeping your consciousness awake. And in doing that, you're like sometimes consciously awake while you're paralyzed in your sleep. But for everybody says it feels like there's like a demon sitting on you, or it's someone like holding
Yeah.
you down. or
Shadow
No,
whatever.
thank
person.
you. I mean, Elliot said he experienced it.
He's
So.
had it, yeah.
Right. But the
I've
fact that
always
it
had-
feels like you're being held down by something, like that's fucking
That's
scary.
scary.
Nope.
And
No,
I don't
thank
want to
you.
like, and it's like, is flying around and like, you know, living in a cartoon world and doing whatever you want worth potentially having like
Yeah.
1 or 2 horrible nightmares
Completely ruining
that you're
it.
fully aware of and like conscious for?
Being tortured.
Yeah, exactly. Like I feel like these are things that could happen, but it's like, man, it's so fascinating.
I've always had such a shitty relationship with sleep that, like, if I could just never have to sleep, I would totally do that. If I could just, like, lay down and not have to try and relax to go to sleep. So the thought of like lucid dreaming just sounds like such a long way away for me.
Yeah, because
and
you're
like
just
I haven't
trying-
heard
yeah.
enough people like. I haven't heard enough people say like, "Oh, it helps so much with my anxiety" or
That's
something
true.
like that. For
That's
me
true.
to be like, "Oh,
Because maybe
shit,
it
this
is
a
like
thing.
one of those things where it's like it's just not many people are doing it because it's too much work.
Yeah,
Just too much fucking work.
I think
why
it
not
just seems
just
so
do therapy?
far fetched. Yeah, I think it feels far fetched. It feels like it's like it almost feels like an otherworldly, like almost like astrology
like mystical
type
shit.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of
Crystals.
people would, yeah, kind of. I think right at
Maybe
first, just
shy
kinda
away
like,
from it in that way. You're right.
yeah.
You're right.
No,
Yeah.
thank you. No, thank you.
But it's interesting because like you'll read people talk about their experiences and they're like it was like life changing that they could like do that, you know? It's
the
really
same thing with
interesting.
fucking ayahuasca.
Oh, totally. Totally.
It's like
Cat-
no different.
Ayahuasca always sounds like a town to me. It's like, where'd you do this weekend?
Ayahuasca.
Oh, I went to Ayahuasca.
We went up
Just
to
a weekend
ayahuasca.
trip to ayahuasca.
Yeah, had a
Camped
great
out.
time. Found a little Airbnb. It was good. It was good. Kevin, you were talking about dying.
found a
and-
gas station with a
Oh, yeah.
slot machine.
I'm a fish now.
I'm a fish now, and it's gone too far because you know I don't wish it anyway.
That's the credits
whoop.
song.
Shouldn't have put it in my money. Shouldn't have given the machine my
My money. I'm a
I'm a
fish
fish
girl.
now. That's the end credits song.
That's the end credits. Yeah. Dude,
Ah,
stupid.
in a fish world.
Sorry,
man.
what were you asking?
Kevin was
Dying.
talking about dying. Do you die in your dreams?
I've died a couple
I've
times in my
died.
dreams.
I've been shot and I feel it.
I've
And I
been
wake
shot
up
and I've
it
been
like
stabbed.
hurts still.
Yeah.
But did
You haven't,
die, or
Joe?
did you wake up at the moment that you were gonna die?
I've died. I've
Well,
died in my dreams.
I mean, like, I got shot, and I remember this was like one of my, when I was a kid, I looked down, like, there's a guy, a burglar, who came into the house, shot me, and I looked down and, like, saw the bloody hole. And then, like, I remember, like, falling to the ground and then, like, just getting really, like, tired. And then, like, I woke up.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
So,
you
like,
still
I don't
woke up
know
at
if-
the point of death.
Yeah, I guess it's like, because you can't, that, I
Yeah,
mean, how
I've-
have you died?
Yeah, I have also died that way. I've died in the way that like you just kind of go like, "Wow, I'm dying," and then you kind of look
Yeah.
up, and then you just kind of like wait for death to happen.
And then,
And in the dream, it's kind of like you just wake up. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
it's
wake up.
so-
So
yeah,
maybe you,
so-
you almost died. You didn't quite die. You woke up
you're right.
before you died.
Or maybe
But
it was
your
like
brain
that
told you that you
universe
were dying.
version of me dying.
Dude,
Ooh.
if I was a doctor and I didn't know how somebody died, I'd just be like, "So, Mrs. Johnson, your husband is dead. However, there's some good news. He went quick. He was painless." And she'd be like, "But how? How would that?" And I'd panic, and I'd go, I think he died in a dream." He
he
died in a
must have
dream.
died in his dream, and then he died in real life.
And you know the rule: if you die in a dream, you die in real
die
life.
in
And
real
he died.
life.
He must have died in a dream.
It sounds like he just ran out of all of his wishes. Sorry.
Going off what you were saying though, Joe, the fact that like me and Steve didn't technically fully
You almost
die,
died in a dream.
then maybe when you do die in a dream, you actually do die.
Maybe. I don't
Whoa.
remember ever dying in a dream. Like I remember the urban legend of like if you, like I've fallen out of like the sky a lot in a dream, and everybody
yeah.
for the longest time when we were kids would be like, if you hit the ground, you die in real life.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And I remember being afraid of that. And then I have hit the ground a number of times falling in dreams,
Yeah.
but I don't die. I bounce. It's really funny.
Yeah.
Like I have the fear and I have like
Wait.
the anxiety of like I am gonna die, and that's all real until I hit and I think shit I'm dead, but nope, I go boing and I bounce back up.
Dude, that's insane. I always wake up like as I hit the ground. That's
Yeah, I've
insane.
never
that
done
you
that. I've never done like a
bounce.
bounce thing. Yeah, that's like the
Why
mask.
do you bounce?
It's very much like the mask. Boing.
Wow, dreams are crazy. I like I think I smoke too much weed, and so I don't
Yeah, doesn't
dream
that
as
fuck
much.
with it a lot too?
Yeah, I just don't dream. And then for some reason, like if I travel and like it's somewhere where you can't bring weed or weed is like super illegal there or something, I'll just like, not smoke, and I'll just hang out and be sober and still have a good time. I can still have a good time, Joe.
You keep telling yourself that.
can still have a
You
good
just keep
time.
saying it till you believe it.
And
Okay.
and during those times, I would have like super vivid dreams, and I'd be
Yeah.
like, "Whoa, dreams!
They're back.
Dreams are back,
Dude,
Dreams are back
melatonin.
at McDonald's."
I have crazy ass dreams now that I've
think you
discovered
said this.
melatonin. It's nuts.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
Yeah.
the supplement they're talking about that helps with lucid
Could
dreaming.
be. I mean, it
It
just makes you
might.
a little bit sleepier.
Oof, man, they are vivid. They're long. They're
But have you
crazy.
always had dreams like that?
Not lately, but
But you have?
the melatonin has really kicked it in.
Yeah.
No,
Is this the
no.
first time you've dreamt like this?
I mean, in recent years, maybe. Yeah,
That's cool.
I've had
Anything
like
cool? Anything
lot of
fun?
anxiety. They're nuts. Like trying out for SNL.
Yeah. And
But no,
yeah.
dude, I'm telling you, everything before that SNL, like it was crazy ass, like dreamscape stuff. Like a lot. It's a lot packed into like a box. It's like getting
Wow.
one of those like press kits, and you got to open it up, and there's
Yeah.
like 700 things in it, and you're like,
Yeah.
what's it gonna be?
Do you guys have
Wow.
like super, or have you had like otherworldly, like totally bonkers dreams? Because you sound like, Joe, that like it's pretty based in real life. And I think about Ellie dreams all the time, but her dreams are like insane.
Well, and
like
she-
there's
yeah.
this one dream that she
Yeah.
had where she like was upstairs in her room, and then she came downstairs, and like in the kitchen her family was like, it's pretty dark, but they were like cooking babies, and there was like babies everywhere that they were like, yeah. And then
They
she
were
had
like-
one where like
I will
she, like,
grant you your greatest dish.
My greatest dish.
and she had one where like she was in a field, and there was a bunch of turtles on top of horses that were like just like going through the field. She has like such weird dreams that have nothing to do with like what's been happening.
I love
Yeah.
that.
I remember having a dream where I was swimming in a giant bottle of ketchup. That was real weird.
That's weird.
Like I was swimming
That's
in the
weird.
ketchup, and it was like a ketchup pool.
Dude, I've always wanted to swim in a pool of something
Yeah, me
other
too.
than water.
Me too.
I had a life dream where everybody's like, I want to swim in Jello. I was like, no. I want to take a bath in Novocaine.
Oh wow!
Holy shit, dude.
And just numb your whole body.
you just freeze.
Oh
you
my
drown.
god! Wouldn't that be terrifying?
Yeah, I think so. I was a dumb kid.
Jumping into Jello sounds not great either. Wouldn't that
No.
hurt from a certain height?
Yeah, it's like concrete.
Yeah,
Like,
it would
but
be.
in Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, it looks real fun.
Dude, and God forbid you actually go underneath the surface a little bit.
You're done.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
done, baby. You're done.
Guys, I love Legos.
I will grant you my greatest splish.
Splash.
my greatest splish. It's splash. Guys, I love Lego a lot, and it's just too expensive, and there's just no room. But I still love it. Is there a way for me to love it and not have to have it?
Oh.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, don't buy it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely that's the answer.
Yeah, just don't buy it, bud.
And stay away from like where it is and stuff. Like, don't go to the Lego
Like,
store anymore.
Yeah.
Stop
When you
going
walk
to
by the Lego store, do you have to go in?
Yeah,
I do.
absolutely. I have to.
Yeah.
I have to.
Well, then you're
There's
fucked.
Indiana Jones sets in there, Joe.
Wait,
You
did
don't
you go
have
to
to
it?
buy something though. You can
I
just
did.
go in. You saw it?
I did see it. I saw Indiana Jones.
Okay,
and the
okay,
Dial
don't
of
s-
Destiny.
So don't say anything. I haven't even seen it. I already know what my order is. It's very much in with what Matt Robb tweeted recently.
You guys are idiots.
Put
Both of you.
your order of Indiana Joneses from 1 to last. Go.
Mine's very similar to that, except it's Raiders,
Mm-hmm.
Last Crusade,
Mm-hmm.
Temple of Doom,
Mm-hmm.
Dial of Destiny,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Crystal Skull.
That's what I figured. I switch Crusade with
But
Raiders.
you know, man, it comes up a lot. Like Temple of Doom comes up a lot, especially when people talk about how bad Crystal Skull is.
Mm-hmm.
And even with this one, there's like some things that people are like, but I mean, and it's like Temple of Doom is really bonkers and weird and
Yeah.
totally different than all of the other ones.
I still
This is-
haven't seen that one.
What? That's
I
so
know.
crazy.
Whoa,
I
Collie,
know.
why?
And and then like the thing about Temple of Doom 2 is like it is a prequel to like all of them. Like
Oh,
it's the
really? I didn't know
younge-
that.
Yeah, it's the youngest indie in the timeline that we've seen so far.
I see.
And, well, until Crusade when you get the flashback with River Phoenix or whatever. But yeah, so you've indie in Temple of Doom is Fortune and Glory indie, who is more about it for the money and for being the guy that finds the thing rather than being like this belongs in a museum indie, who he becomes. So it's like
Which is
I
how
think-
Dial of Destiny ends. Spoilers, everybody. Indy just wakes up one day and he realizes that he himself should be in a museum.
a fish. He does. He steps into a glass case and then he just
This.
closes it like in front. And it
Da,
goes,
da,
"Ba-ba-da-da,
da, da, da.
ba-ba-da-da," and the
pretty
camera
great.
moves away and all these kids like kind of come in and like look like, oh look, mommy, and then the kid families walk by. And then he just does this with his hat.
And then he closes his eyes.
Yep.
And then it cuts this black. But dude, that's so funny. He's like, I belong in a museum. You know what, Marion? After all these years,
Oh man.
I think my final adventure is
So
in that
funny.
museum.
Wait,
But,
how do they
But Temple of
Okay.
Doom. But with Temple of Doom, it's like we've got young, like spunky, like I'm in it for the money indie, and so I think it like the whole movie kind of like tonally joins that
Yeah.
feeling, and I think that that's the excuse I give myself canonically for why Temple of Doom is so like tonally bizarre and like very different. Some people will say it's because Spielberg was going through like a crazy divorce during the time.
Oh, really? Damn.
Yeah, it was either Spielberg or Lucas. One of them was going through some terrible shit, and then so they were making. That's why also Temple of Doom is like the darkest of all of them. It's like really violent.
I think
and
I knew
gross and
that
weird.
part. Yeah. Did you
but
guys
yeah.
see those in theaters?
No,
No? It was after-
I
I mean,
eventually
before.
did see like re-releases of them when they would like bring
Okay.
like when Cine Family would do Indiana Jones in the Cemetery
Yeah.
or whatever. But no, Last Crusade came out when I was like, what was that, like 85 or something like
It was
that?
the 80s. I just don't know when.
Was it? No, maybe it was 90.
No, Last
something.
Crusade was 89. I think.
89. Okay,
Okay.
so I was 7 years old. So I wasn't
Okay.
super into going to see old guys do horse riding. So I was like too young.
Yeah.
But then eventually
Yeah,
saw
I nailed
Raiders
it.
and all that shit.
I have these
Anyway,
weird, like,
but, yeah,
random
so-
facts in my mind for dates with movies because of all the research I did on movies.
That's true.
It's
That's
just stuck
good.
in there now. But yeah, so like I excuse Temple of Doom for being like wacky and weird because it's like his like earliest adventures and they were like wackier, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, questions about Dial of Destiny
Just
without
did
spoilers?
did you like it? Did you enjoy going back to the world, and
I
why was
did.
it better than Crystal Skull?
I did enjoy it. I think it was better than Crystal Skull because, man, I guess it's just a better story.
First one not in the hands of Spielberg.
I know. And Spielberg
Yeah.
like was all up in Crystal Skull. Was same with Lucas.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, Crystal Skull kind of feels like a cartoon to me. Like it looks like a cartoon and it feels like a cartoon. Like all the
It
like,
is, and I will. Oh, go ahead.
right?
Go ahead.
No, go.
I'm gonna say I was literally talking with somebody about this yesterday, Crystal Skull specifically, and we were like Crystal Skull, but then we both went, but After the first viewing of Crystal Skull, you're like, this is the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Subsequent viewings of Crystal Skull
Get better,
make
yeah.
it better. It's not as
See, I
bad as
haven't
that
done
first
that.
viewing.
I saw it
Yeah.
the one time, and that's the only time I've
There's
seen it. I
some
can barely even
wacky-
remember it.
There's some wacky bad shit in it, but it's watchable, especially when you're watching it with kids. It's not as bad.
I
as
watched
the
it as a kid, and
first
I
one is.
remember being like, that was fun. I didn't really
Yeah.
think much of it.
I think it's one of those things where it's like, you know, the indie series should have been way more than what we have. And if that were the case, it would be okay that Crystal Skull is like in there. You know, like the fact
Yeah.
that I think what happened with Crystal Skull is that they waited so long to make
It was like
another
20
Indiana
years.
Jones, right?
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
And they built it up like it was going to be the second coming of Christ, essentially. Like,
which
kinda
they
like
could
how they
do
did
in
with
an
Star
Indiana
Wars.
Jones. Yeah,
absolutely. And honestly, like, everyone was ready. And the fact that it was like Spielberg and Lucas and fucking the cast is fucking crazy. And, you know, the rumors is it's about aliens and it's in the 60s and it's like, or the 50s, and it's really fucking cool. And then they just kind of like that. I think it was never going to live up to the hype. That version
Yeah.
of that
Yeah.
movie was never going to live up to that hype. And so I think that it suffered greatly because of it. Had that exact movie come out like 3
in
years after
95 or
Last
something?
Crusade,
Yeah.
I think people would love it as much as they love Temple of Doom.
interesting. I wonder if they would. Yeah,
I
would love
really
the
feel that way because I think the weight just blew
Yeah.
it out of proportion.
There is a parallel universe where we have an Indiana Jones franchise where like 4 of them came out in the 90s.
Yes,
It's like
dude.
it's like a Mission Impossible
Totally.
style
Totally.
franchise.
I could have even seen it go the way of like James Bond. You know, I think they kind of biffed that possibility at this point. But I think it could have.
Oh yeah. Nobody's replacing it. Well, you know what? I want to say that, but
It's
then
gonna
who fucking
happen.
knows?
They
Like,
keep
yeah.
trying and they keep like eluding, like even with like Crystal Skull, you know, they were like, ooh, Shia LaBeouf's gonna be the new Indiana
Oh,
Jones.
yeah.
well,
and
then
then
they
there
talked about Chris Pratt doing it.
And then Chris Pratt for the longest time was like a possible new Indiana Jones. And everyone was kind of like, I don't know. And this was before everybody hated Chris Pratt. So they were like, maybe, I don't know, maybe, because fucking whatever, you know? But now it's too late. But I think that, like, they could have totally done a James Bond thing in another universe.
How was Garblemouth Harrison Ford Indiana Jones?
He's so old, man.
I know. I
He's
say Garblemouth
so
l-
old.
lovingly, by the way. I'm
No,
saying
I
it
know,
lovingly.
I know. It's
He's
hard
just-
to watch. It's
He
hard
can't
to watch.
enunciate as much as he could back in the day. How did it feel?
There's like a whole like de-aging thing going on at one point
yeah.
in the movie that I thought was like
Yeah.
pretty distracting. Although all of the action really worked for me. Like
Cool.
it worked so well that I had like tears in my eyes. Because the music was, I mean, it's John Williams' last score too, I
Aw.
guess.
Oh, is
He
it
always
official?
says this though. He
Oh.
always retires and then comes back and does another thing.
But still will
But
be probably
the
one of his
music
last.
in combination with like what we were seeing was like it was a really emotional experience for me. But
Worth seeing in the theaters then.
absolutely, it's a big action movie.
I just had the
Okay.
darkest thought. Like, John Williams is what, 90? He's like
Yeah,
super old.
yeah.
On his last legs. Imagine he keeps like making scores, but like now he's at the point where he's not quite all there. Like, but he's still got all the musical acumen.
Sure.
So in his scores, he accidentally starts putting in pieces from other scores.
Like the Harry Potter sound.
Like da 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 da, and then it like goes into Schindler's List on accident.
Oh my god. Dude, that's so funny. Be like, John, I think it's time. I think it's time to
I'll
retire.
tell you when it's time.
Where's Harry Potter? I gotta tell him something. But I think that if this Dial of Destiny had come out instead of Crystal Skull, I think it would have been the exception in the sense that the hype would have lived up to what it delivered.
Interesting.
Yeah, because
I
I
mean,
think
it's been 15 years since that came out.
like with Crystal
It's
Skull,
so crazy.
like
Yeah.
it blows my mind. But I think when I think about Crystal Skull, I think about how like it does just look like a fucking cartoon, and there's just something like weirdly not real about a lot of it, and
Yeah.
and also the performances are like really strange. Like I think that one's tonally kind of all over the place too. And with this one, it's like it's James Mangold, right? The guy that did Logan, and Logan is like a perfect superhero movie. In fact, I think good superhero movies maybe died when Logan came out.
You're saying that was the last good superhero
I think
movie?
that might have been the last good superhero movie.
Interesting.
But I love James Mangold and I really loved Logan, so I was like I was really on board with giving someone else a chance at Indiana Jones, and it felt like this guy was right for the job. And it just really felt more like an epic movie adventure and felt more fun and like, well, it was just, it felt like an old
Entertaining.
Indiana Jones movie. And somehow like Crystal Skull didn't, even though it had Spielberg and Lucas all over it.
Yeah.
It was like they almost
weird.
like they couldn't capture what made Indiana Jones good, and this one did, I think. But yeah, man, it's really hard to watch Harrison Ford. It really is, man, because it's like he's so old, and they're playing on it, man. They're really like, look at how old he is, and they're like making him do like action and shit. And some of it seems very obviously like CG, like they just popped his
Yeah.
head on top of a stunt actor. And I'm sure they did that for a lot of the movie. But it's just really rough, man. I'm like, I think I don't.
That's not
I'm
pushing.
ready to never see Harrison Ford put on the costume of a character he played when he was young ever again. Like,
I'm
let's
sure
have him
he's-
just
Yeah.
like no more Han Solo, no more Indy. Like we're done. We're done.
Let's just come on, Harrison. Give us some like, what's your version of Gran Torino?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Let's get you on a porch. Let's get you angry. Let's get you over. Let's get you overcoming your subtle racism.
Yeah,
You know?
and also like, you know, Joe, I think that would be perfect because he is like notoriously like a big grump, and he just kind of doesn't give a shit about anything. Like I guess there was like this quote that's been going around on the set of the new like Captain America movie that's coming out.
Wait, there's another. Oh yeah, it's not with.
Yeah, but it's what's his name, Terrence. Whatever, is it Terrence? Or am I wrong?
I don't
Anthony
know.
Mackie,
Anthony Mackie.
Anthony Mackie, yeah.
Joe Tom.
Terrence the Tank Engine. But there was like a quote where like he's working with Harrison Ford, and
Oh, you're right. I just saw this too. Yeah.
and I guess like Harrison Ford is like whenever he comes on the set, he'll say like, "All right, let's shoot this piece of shit."
Yeah.
Like he doesn't even like he knows it's gonna be bad.
I love him. I
Wow,
love
like
it.
he's just old man, don't give a fuck. So yeah, I'd love a Gran Torino. Like I'd love to see him
Just a character
lean
piece.
into,
Just do a
lean in, but
Netflix.
also lean into his like real pure like boredom and being sick of
Yeah.
acting
Yeah.
and shit.
Man, it's crazy. Like he doesn't need to do it, but he still does. So
It's
is it?
still
Does he
there.
love it? Does he not love it?
I
No.
know that's the other thing. It's like he fucking hates it. It seems like, but he's like.
Doesn't
it
know
must
what
just
else
be like
to
a
do.
job. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's just like this is what I do.
So I
This is my
feel
life.
like when you see it, prepare to be like a little sad about how old he is.
Of course.
Okay.
It's distracting. And then but everybody else is like, you know, dude, you could have like Indy be, because I was thinking like, how old was Sean Connery in Last Crusade?
Let me find out. For
Like
you.
younger than Harrison Ford. I want to say maybe
Probably like-
Crystal Skull. I think Crystal Skull he might have been the same age.
What? So like 60?
In Crystal Skull, I think he was the same age Sean Connery was in Last Crusade.
Connery was 56 and Ford was 44.
56 in Last
In-
Crusade,
Yeah,
and Indy
Last
was
Crusade.
44 in Crystal Skull.
Yep. No. Connery was 56 in Last Crusade, and Ford was 44 in Last Crusade.
No, I'm saying in Crystal Skull, Harrison Ford was probably the same age as Sean Connery.
He would have been 64 then.
Because I'm like, Sean Connery did well as like a supporting lead to a younger Harrison Ford.
Yeah, he was 65 in Crystal Skull.
Okay, so so he was as old as Sean Connery was.
Older.
Older.
Like almost 10 years
Wow.
older.
So yeah, like I remember watching this latest one. I was like, do I want to see like Harrison Ford keep doing this?
No.
And I was like, I'd rather him be like a mentor to someone, and he like
Yeah.
is at home drinking tea and like
Oh yeah, pulling the levers of the new Harrison
maybe he's
Ford.
maybe he's the guy. Yeah, exactly. And maybe he just like gets like help from him, and maybe he shows up at the end doing something like an old man would do that isn't like kind of cringy.
Or you don't
Yeah.
see him for the whole movie, and then at the end, like the new Indiana Jones has the thing, and then he like brings it up and he puts it in, like he's in his small apartment or something, and he sets the Grail down on the table, and the light is shining through lines, and then all of a sudden you hear, "Hey, that should be in a museum." And then you cut over, and there's this fucking old guy. You don't see him, but there's a hand in the chair.
The whip
Yeah, that
grabs
should be in a museum.
Yeah.
But you don't see him. It just like lands in an old like withered
Yeah,
hand.
like in a hand, yeah. And it could be shaking and yeah, exactly. I would love that. And there's like a beard and like, in the silhouette or something. And then you see like a cigarette light, and one of his eyes is like completely white, and there's like a scar over it. Like
wait.
What?
he's
then-
old. He
And then
went
you
through-
pan
he-
out, and a hand wipes down the side of the aquarium.
and he's laughing. All right. Well, this was fun, guys. Oh, and by the way, I give Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny a 8 out of 10.
Holy shit, man.
Yeah.
That's a good score. All right, I'm going to
Because-
see it.
Whether or not I was fooled by John Williams' gorgeous music on top
I'll
of
go for that.
beautiful imagery,
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's perfect, but I really had an emotionally satisfying time.
Yeah.
Despite the fact it was very hard to see Harrison Ford be Indiana Jones at that age.
It's where we're at.
Yeah. Anyway,
Before we go real quick, I just want to say that I've been watching Black Mirror, and
Yes.
like many, I'm not like I'm a little bit in the camp of like, this doesn't feel as like Black Mirror as they did in the past. I'm not having as much fun for whatever reason. However,
Yeah.
they are all good
They're
enough
good.
like standalone like shorts, which
That's what
is
I
fun.
said.
I do have. Did you watch them all?
yeah, I like the
I
last
haven't watched
one
the
a
last
lot.
two.
I have 2 left.
Yeah, me
I really
too.
liked the one with Josh Hartnett and Aaron Paul to a point. Like I loved the idea and I loved the world that they built. I wish I got really sad with how they ended it and how they went
Right?
like you call it like 5 seconds into it. Like
Right?
you kind of know where it's going. And that
They
seems
should
to
have
be the
went
problem.
somewhere completely
Why
else.
didn't they?
Yeah.
I wish they would have San Junipero'd it. I wish it was a positive one. I wish
Yeah.
like they could have done this whole like body swap thing and like and went the non-horror route with it, which I was really, really excited
I
about.
can't remember how that one ended. Can we
Fucking
can you
kill-
tell me, and then we
Yeah,
can
spoilers.
Spoiler
No,
alert.
no, spoilers coming. If you don't want to hear it, you don't want to hear it. He fucking murdered his wife.
And
Oh,
kids.
that's right, and kid. That's
It was
right.
really
yeah.
stupid. Like,
yeah, I will say that was not predictable. Did you
Oh, I
think that was predictable?
saw
Oh,
it coming
we
a mile
predicted-
away.
What I
Yeah.
thought would be the most predictable ending was that he just like killed the guy in space,
One of the two,
kills
right?
Aaron
Well,
Paul,
yeah.
and then lives his life forever
As
down
Aaron
there.
Paul.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just liked the idea of this like friendship being forged through like shared humanity, and like it could have just
You're
been
right.
this.
It would have been nice if that guy got rehabilitated and like
Yeah,
and, like,
I found it,
helped, yeah.
and I found it super interesting, right? And then they could have helped each other. Like, you could
Yeah.
have came back. Your wife is lonely. Like, maybe that's not as like shocking and stuff
It
like
didn't
that.
have
But
to be shocking though.
yeah,
It didn't
I
have
thought the
to be.
ending was so fucking stupid. Now
mean,
we're
the
stuck in
fucking
space
lock-
together.
Yeah.
I thought everyone did really well. All the performances were
Dude.
so
Oh, yeah.
good.
I
We
mean-
need more Josh Hartnett.
I know he killed
Yeah.
it. He was very
Yeah.
good.
Sorry,
All of
Ken,
it.
what were you gonna say?
Lock Henry had a similar ending where it was just like, well, okay, this is just a sad ending.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Same
I turned to
thing.
Heather. I was like, well, that was just a super sad one, but I guess the commentary on Netflix true crime murders is what we're supposed to
Yeah.
do here. Is that true crime? You forget about the people that it affects on the
There's
back
real
end, which is
people,
fucking true. By the way,
but they love putting those out, and they're not going to stop putting those out.
I give
No.
slight props to Netflix for calling themselves out on it.
Sure.
Slight props.
But if they stopped, then I'd be like, fuck yeah.
Mhm.
Good job.
Yeah. The Joan is Awful one, I guess, had a decent ending. And that's
Joan
why I
is
liked
Awful-
that one.
Jonas
I
Awful
like
was
that one.
very Black Mirror. That was very
yeah.
Black Mirror.
It was fun too. I liked
Loved
Salma
it.
Hayek a lot. And then
But I
Michael
called that
Cera.
one too. I called that one like within the first
you
10
were
minutes.
like,
I was
this
like,
is gonna
this
be
is
an
fake.
alternate
This is-
reality or
Well,
something.
me and Ellie were both, when we were watching the first like 10 minutes, we were both like, this doesn't feel like a Black Mirror episode. This feels like we're watching a like episode of like a sitcom or something. The way the writing is, they did really well, because the way the writing is with the beginning, it's like very textbook. It's not super like
Sure.
realistic seeming. It seems like you're like a show. And then at the end, when she's like in therapy, it seems so much more realistic, and I love that aspect of it.
Yeah, whatever opinion you have on rating it, any of these as Black Mirror episodes is one thing, but they are all very well done. They're like
Yes,
well done
I
pieces
agree.
of art.
They always are, yeah. I mean, even if they kind of suck, they're well made for sure.
Yeah.
There's 5 of them?
Yeah, but I haven't watched the last two, which
So
I heard
it's
the
like-
fourth one is like the worst.
What's the 4th one? Who's in there?
I don't know. It's like the Maisie something, I think. Maisie. I don't know. I think it's the girl with like that where her eyes do something weird or whatever. Is that?
I'm not sure.
Well, you
Riveting
haven't seen it
content.
either, Joe.
Yeah, riveting content, guys. We're
This
doing
is
great.
riveting, right in the end, too.
Yeah.
All right,
Anyways,
well, thanks for listening, guys. We hope you enjoyed, and please stay away from the genie's tomb.
Bye.
Bye.